This one's rantalicious. Arguing, disagreeing, discussing. Simply disagreeing in a discussion is not an argument. A debate may be an argument, may not be an argument. The mere fact that you don't agree is not arguing. That you discuss your points about why you disagree may not be arguing as well. Presenting your point of view is not arguing. When the other person presents a disagreeing point of view, and you counter by a repetition of your initial point, now you're arguing. Or if you start giving flippant or personalized responses that are not considered and thought out points on the topic, now you're arguing. So if I'm looking at you and I'm saying to you, cows should have a right to carry guns. Cows with guns. And you say, I would not want to see cows having guns. For one thing, I think they would tend to have trouble operating them safely because they don't have trigger fingers. For another thing, I think that cows with guns would be dangerous because we eat them and they would start fighting back. And then you might play that song, Cows with Guns, to finally include your point. We're not arguing. I now might present to you, cows have a right to carry guns because cows are people too. And people have a right to carry guns. And so cows should have a right to carry guns. And besides, I don't think people should eat cows. Cows should be able to fight back. Don't you think it's only fair we shoot them? Shouldn't they be able to shoot us? Okay, we're still discussing. Whether these arguments are considered, they're not. Reasoned or well thought out, they're not on either side, because I'm making it up as I go, is not relevant to whether or not we're arguing. Now, person A says, no, cows aren't people. Person B, anyway, one of them says that. The other one says, yes, cows are people. No, they're not. Yes, they are. Boom! You're arguing. People shouldn't get to have guns. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. That's an argument. At that point, you're no longer presenting points. You're no longer sharing your point of view. You're not in any way, shape, or form contributing to a discussion. You're arguing. An argument, it's just dogs barking. You might as well just stop using words and just start barking at each other. No, I don't. Yes, I do. Bark, 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 bark. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to make too long a sound clip because someday maybe somebody is going to use it in the worst way possible. I probably already gave them enough. I'm sure there's plenty of material in my rants for people to use that way. Oh, me, oh, my. They say you've made it when you have internet bullies, so bring it on, folks. Yeah, discussion, argument. A debate is merely an organized version of either one, and how it plays out depends entirely on the social pressures on the people involved, really. Do they have to have considered, reasoned arguments, or can they actually achieve their results by mere loud repetition? Now, that's an important point, you see. You need to understand why people do that. Why do people yell themselves silly? Well, for one thing, it does shut down the other voices in the room. That is a truth. It frequently does. If nothing else, they leave in just despair, disgust. They just leave. And you gain control of the room. Now, if everybody in the room leaves, that's the ideal, but it rarely actually works out that way, and so they gain control of a room of people. We're metaphorically speaking anyway. That's one reason why people resort to repeating themselves over and over again. Another function of this is that the human brain, in general, specific folks may not work that way. I don't. As far as I can tell, I definitely do not work that way. repetition doesn't do this to me. But I am not a standard human brain. I am at the very least autistic and unquestionably damaged goods. So your mileage may vary. You may have your own particular bit of weird. But in the human brain, and it works for public manipulation, it'll teach you this if you take courses in this stuff, which I did at university, how to manipulate the public with PR. I don't know, maybe they've stopped offering them everywhere because they realized that giving people those keys was kind of stupid. Wait until they fast-track themselves into the right branch of media before you start teaching them how to hoodwink the general population and control society. But never mind, they were still teaching it when I went to school. And one of the ways that you can convince people that something is true is by repeating a slogan at them. You have to sloganize it. It has to be catchy and memorable and quick. It has to be a slogan, and you inundate their brains with it. We used to call them maxims, such as, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, or don't judge a book by its cover. There's all these maxims. And once again, these are things that are really simple and easy to catch. They have a really bold meaning that we think we understand. And don't worry, they will dog whistle that baby into our brains with explanations right throughout. Once that slogan is now planted here, and we're thinking about it, and it's popping up in our head randomly for no reason, and yes, my head looks wild. My hair is doing its thing. Once the slogan is planted up here and it's doing its thing, and my brain starts going, what exactly does that mean? Can't judge a book by its cover. That's when they ramp up the media effect and they start explaining it. It might be a scene, and it might be a scene between two actors. One explains it to the other, and it could be planted anywhere. It could be planted in a novel. It could be planted in a screenplay. It could be planted in a play script. It could be planted in a song. It could be planted in an animation. It could be planted in a comic book. Frankly, any kind of media consumption, including advertising, can have the slogan and its explanation thus planted. And it becomes a topical and relevant bit of trivial conversation between two people that fills up some of the story time. And so media has been used in this way to exploit us by screaming at us epithets, screaming into our brains. Think mink, got milk, pork the one you love. There's been these incredibly short and brutal, screaming into your face messages that have been, I think Mink is still considered to be the most successful, or possibly Think Pink, the Corning Fiberglass take on the Think Mink ad campaign. One of those turned out to be the most successful ever launched. Imagine by now it's been superseded. I don't continue to pay attention to these things once I graduate my class, because it's not it's not a field I'm specializing in. For me, it was just helping me navigate the media world of my future. And I'm so glad I did, because I can really, really spot these. I can really spot the stuff going on because I know how they're doing it. So this is the reason why shouting and arguing is a method, because you can shut down the other voices and replace them with yours, and then by constant repetition, make America great again, you can actually drum your idea into the head, past all sense of reason, right into that place where it's always been that way, that's why it seems right, becomes the default response. So the person now, when they hear it, they hear that transgender people are just confused kids, they're going to say, well, yeah, it was good enough for Grandpa. It's good enough for me. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. Give me that old-time religion. It was good enough for Grandpa, and it's good enough for me. Hey, if you're one of those lucky few, Go, man. Have fun. Live that life. For the rest of us, we got a lot of learning to do. And let me tell you, you better double check all of that knowledge you assume is common knowledge, because, baby, a lot of it's been planted. Planted in your mind. It's my favorite fidget spinner. It's a really good quality one. Keep it in the bathroom. Something to do while you pee.